And then and what between the two? Is there another?
We have the basic services map at 3.
Okay, okay. I knew there were three things, so okay.
And from what I understand, from Chris, there is no speakers for the basic services map, but we've had 2 emails sent in, which I believe will be read by someone on that end, either Tom or Chris. And
Good.
I don't know if we have anybody signed up for the budget hearing.
And operationally, that's 2 different WebEx links.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And Chris will be handling that from her end in case there are speakers, so she can do all that from her, handling that. We will just read the comments, and then that'll be it. And Chris will handle it from Townsend.
So Chris will be able to plug in these people so that they can speak to us. Can't hear you.
Sorry, yes, Chris will be handling that from her end if there are any speakers signed up.
And they will actually speak to us and not.
You said you're calling in?
Calling in. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Chris.
The councilman is going, he's going to call in while he's working on his technical issues and listen. So if you want to go ahead and get started.
Okay, I think that we will. Okay, so it's May 4th and legislative session 2020, day 11. And we are going to go right to page 14, Bill 4820. And I believe we have Chief Run. First up.
Good afternoon. I just want to confirm, am I looking at the correct one? I have 3420, Madam Chair. Is that correct?
I have 4820 on my agenda. Chris Hewitt or Mr. Boswick, you want to clarify?
Yes, Matt. 4820, current expense budget, CARES Act Provider Relief Fund.
Okay. As long as it's the same one, that's all that matters.
Okay.
So this would be for supplemental appropriation of federal funds from the CARES Act, which is the Coronavirus Aid Relief Economic Security Act. The total is $1,078,908, and it will be used for EMS-related expenses for both the career and volunteer fire departments. There is no matching requirement of this fund, and the grant period is March 1st through December 31st of 2020.
Does anybody have any questions or comments for the chief? All right, Chief. Safe travels. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. You all have a great afternoon.
Thanks.
Okay, next we're going to move second item on page 17, contracts with Deborah Schindel. Deborah, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. The first contract that we would like to request is the approval of a contract for P2 Cleaning Service, LLC, to provide carpet cleaning and floor stripping, sealing, and finishing services to various locations throughout Baltimore County. This
I'm sorry, Deb, let me interrupt you. Is that on page, that's on page 20. That was the second contract, correct?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just want to get the council members on the right page. So we're on page 20 for the P2 cleaning services, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
continue. Okay, that's okay.
I jumped ahead.
That's okay. We're all on board now. Continue. Thanks.
We'll jump back to the other one.
Uh-huh.
Again, this is for the carpet cleaning and floor stripping and sealing and finishing services to various locations throughout Baltimore County. This agreement shall be in effective when executed by the county and shall continue through 1 year, at which the county may exercise its option to renew this agreement for 4 one-year renewals on the same terms and conditions. The county shall have the option of extending this agreement at the end of the initial term or any renewal term for an additional 90 days for the same terms and contract. In no event shall the compensation paid to the contractor under this agreement exceed $25,000 unless the county council approves this agreement and the terms then hereby extended. In no event shall the total compensation paid to the contractor under this agreement exceed the sum of $1,308,486.06 during the entire agreement, including the renewal. The contractor shall provide all labor, equipment, and tools, floor cleaning supplies, and other.
Are there any questions from the members?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Councilman Pacheco?
Thank you. Ms. Schindel, this is more than just, if I understand it correctly, more than just office cleaning? This is operating machinery. Is that a correct assumption?
Yes, sir. In order for us to maintain carpets and VCT, we strip and wax our VCT twice a year, particularly because of all the wear and tear it gets from the traffic coming in. So this is a specialized cleaning that's almost like a deep cleaning. And with VCT, you put wax on them, 3 layers of wax, and it helps protect the actual floor product so that it stays shiny and that it doesn't damage the tile itself.
I see. Thank you. And have we used this vendor in the past?
Not for this particular contract, but yes, he has. They have been a vendor with us prior.
And we've been satisfied with the performance of that vendor?
Yes.
And the only other question I have, do we seek out minority and women-owned businesses for not only this contract, but for other contracts? Do we have any kind of goals that we try to achieve?
Yes,
Minority and women-owned businesses?
absolutely. All contracts that are going through purchasing or any contract, there's always an MBE attached to it. I'm doing a quick cursory so that I could see what the percentage is that was assigned by purchasing. I can get the percentage for you that was assigned, but all contracts have to have a percentage of MBE, WBE attached to it. And it cannot be the awarded contractor. It has to be another sub.
Thank you. I'd be interested in seeing what that, do you know if this vendor happens to be minority or women-owned?
I do not, but I'll find that out for you too.
Okay, thank you.
They cannot consider, they still have to use another minority or an MBE to meet their MBE needs. So even though they're a minority, they still have to have a subcontractor that's a minority also.
Got it. Thank you very much.
I'll get you all those details.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Anyone else?
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Yes, Councilman Grant.
Hi, Ms. Schindel. How are you?
I'm good, Councilman.
Good. The question unrelated to the contracts we're discussing. Has your agency had to do any layoffs or I hate to say the word furlough, but has anybody been sent home in your agency?
So what we have been doing is, like many agencies, I have 4 different units in property management. So we do have people that they have not been furloughed nor laid off. They're still on the county clock. When we do is we have them, they're waiting at home, but they're on county dime so that we could use them basically like standby. And one of the things we've been able to do with our staff is support other county agencies with COVID-19 related needs at this time. For instance, our mowing crews have not been out mowing until this week because we wanted to honor the social distancing. However, we have had a great need to support the food delivery program. And so we're using all of our trucks and our staffs, and we're calling our staff in to start to help with that food delivery and other tasks that are needed for COVID-19. So
Okay.
yes, some of our staff is sitting at home. They're on standby and we call them in as we need them.
If they are hourly employees, or, I mean, when you said on the county dime, so they're still being paid?
Yes, sir.
Then they wouldn't, okay, so they wouldn't be available for unemployment,
No, sir.
or eligible, I'm sorry, I should say. Okay,
No, sir. They're still employed and supported by Baltimore County.
okay. Very good. So we're not relying on, and I've heard some rumors here and there, so I'm just trying to get to the juice of it. We're not relying on the contractors we have for some of these services in lieu of keeping Baltimore County workers home, are we?
Absolutely not. No,
Okay,
absolutely not. So, yes, our contractors are doing some work that is needed in order to maintain our ball diamonds and such. Their work actually has been decreased also, but we are not, there's no contractor being used to leave our staff at home. We took it on a case-by-case basis and looked at it on what our needs are in the county and what's a priority that has to be done, and then really what can we wait on. And we didn't make decisions based on whether it's county staff or a contractor. We looked at each task.
okay. So we're not using, Mr. Blades had a very adamant of the head no there when I asked the question. But so just to be clear, we're not sort of supplanting county workers with contractors for any of these services in your agency.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
I have great county employees that work for us in our grounds and throughout, and I'm very proud of the work that they're doing right now, which is supporting the COVID-19 support. And I have heard many of them, actually, I was out with them on Saturday in a food delivery at Glenarm. And I think they're really proud of actually being able to support our community in the way that we need. So, sir, thank you very much.
Very
If I could
good.
chime
Thank
in
you.
real quick, if I could chime in real quick. We really are just essentially dispatching from home for our grounds maintenance and our mechanical teams. So it's really about social distancing, and we are definitely not using subcontractors or contractors to do county employee work at this point. So to say at this point doesn't mean we even are thinking about it, but we are not doing that.
Okay, very good. That answers my question. Thank you.
Quite welcome.
Thank you
Madam
both.
Chair, I have a follow-up question that Councilman Crandall made me of, and really for Mr. Blades. I recall when I used to prepare the budget for the planning department, we had what we called merit and non-merit employees. And are we still doing that, A? And B, are both those merit and non-merit, if we are both those merit and non-merit employees treated the same way in terms of how they're being compensated while we're in this period of addressing the COVID-19 crisis?
Yes and yes. Yes, we do
Okay.
still have merit and non-merit, and everyone is being treated.
Okay, thank you.
Ed, it's Wade Catch. Can you hear me?
Yes, Wade.
Okay. What percent of our county employees are sitting at home without work to do? Can you make a guess?
Oh, I can't, because it's a combination of, like property management, you have people who are teleworking, you have people at home waiting to be dispatched. We also have like BOM and Public Works. You have a rotation where off on 1 week, off the next. So there's so many different facets of how we're approaching this to keep our workforce safe. So at some point, I'll be able to give you statistics on exactly where we are, but I don't have that available right now.
I've been assuring constituents that if there's work to do and it can be safely done, that county employees are doing it, and that no one's taken advantage of the system. So that's a safe thing to say?
I think that's a safe thing to say, and I think some preliminary statistics that we're finding in finance downstairs is productivity is actually up because there's fewer distractions and they're processing a lot more work.
Well, my cats are distracting me.
Councilman Catch, I can tell you that in the second district, and I'm sure that many others are experiencing the same thing, is that our constituent service requests have ramped up dramatically.
Absolutely. Yep.
Absolutely. And
Everyone's at home.
the word's got out though that my district gets served first.
That's so.
Okay, we definitely got sidetracked here. Okay, before, Deb, before you go on to the next contract with Colossus 17, Julian, are you with us? Can you hear us?
Yes, I am here.
Okay, just want to make sure you're with us in case you need to speak. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Deb, you want to go ahead and continue with page 17, your second contract for Patriot Plaza?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Administration is requesting approval of a contract for Colossal Contractors. The contractor selected for exterior cleaning, hard surface, Patriot Plaza, term and agreement in Baltimore County. The agreement shall take effect April 1st, 2020 until July 31st, 2020, unless the county council approves the agreement. In the event that the county council approves this agreement, the term of this agreement shall continue through March 31st, 2001, the term less sooner terminated pursuant to this agreement. At the end of the initial term, the county may exercise its option to renew this agreement for 4 one-year renewals on the same terms and conditions. The county shall have the option of extending this agreement at the end of the term or any renewal term for an additional 90 days on the same terms and conditions provided by the written notice of its intent to extend to the contractor. In the event that the county elects to extend this agreement, the contractor shall submit invoices for service and/or scope of work rendering in the matter prescribed to the contract. In no event shall the total compensation paid to the contractor under this agreement exceed the sum of $25,000 unless the county council approves this agreement. In no event shall the total compensation paid to the contractor under this agreement exceed the sum of $226,550.88 during the term of the agreement, including the renewals thereof. So this is also to a contractor that we have used for painting, has done a really great job for us before, very responsive and actually has had some waterproofing contracts. And this is really a contract that we intend to use so that we can really maintain our warranty on the Patriot Plaza. We have a responsibility to make sure that we get the sand filled like we're supposed to, and that we clean those hard surfaces. As you can see, I'm sure you've already noticed the skateboarders are a little using it a little bit, and that folks sometimes drop their gum and we walk on it. So our goal is to keep our plaza very nice and a good place to actually want to come and utilize.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Councilman Marks?
Thank you. Ms. Schindel, I praise you a lot. I think you do a great job. And this council fought very hard for funding for Patriot Plaza during the last administration. But I guess I get concerned that we keep getting these contracts that have already started by the time we approve them. It just seems to be happening a lot lately. My question is this: why couldn't we have gotten this contract earlier? I mean, why couldn't we have backed up this process so we actually approve the contract before the work starts?
Well, I do hear you, and I think one of the problems with this particular contract was we had some issues working the contract. We have not utilized it yet at all. I think it was just giving us the option and ability to do so if we needed to this month of April, but obviously we haven't. I definitely will work with purchasing to try to try to get our, a more timely fashion on all of the contracts that we do.
Yeah, well, thank you. And I appreciate that. And but to Mr. Blades, I mean, can we work on this? Because it seems like we're getting a lot of these contracts that have already started by the time we review them.
A lot of times the language is put into the contract to give the county flexibility. We are, as the administration, authorized to spend up to $25,000. That's why contracts that are less than do not come up to the council. But this is really just giving the flexibility should the services be needed. And in this case, if they weren't, the other option would be to have two separate contracts. And I think the workload would be difficult if we were to have a $25,000 contract, then have a second contract waiting for council approval. It just seems like a lot of unnecessary work on our staff to manage DOs and POs split between multiple contracts. So
Okay.
part of it is a convenience, but I certainly understand what you're saying of we should be quicker and getting these to you as opposed to having any expenditure prior to council approval.
And I know it's unusual times, but I just wanted to bring that up. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you, Deb. Stay safe.
Thank you, Deb. Yeah.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Next, we're going to move to page 1 for Bill 27-20. And we have Lawrence Richardson, and he will be covering 3 items. Lawrence, are you with us?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can't see you, but I can hear you.
You can see me now. Good
We
afternoon,
see you.
Madam
Good
Mayor,
afternoon.
members of the council. So the first bill is a supplemental appropriation for Health and Human Services, our Continuum of Care grant program. This is a supplemental for $17,210. This is a federal grant passed through the Maryland Department of Health. It's from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. The COC program assists individuals and families experiencing homelessness and provide services for these families to get into transitional housing. The program provides rental assistance payments and helps homeless individuals with mental illness and their families who may be involved in the criminal justice system. This year, the program will be serving 51 clients in Baltimore County.
Sounds like a great program. Anyone have any questions or comments? Okay, would you like to move on to Bill 28-20 on page 4?
Yes. 2820 is another supplemental appropriation. It's federal funding coming through the Maryland Department of Health for our Maryland Opioid Rapid Response Program. This supplemental was for $99,228. The funding will provide Baltimore County Department of Health and implement our harm reduction activities around opioid overdose, response training, and naloxone distribution for targeted case management services. It also will include 5 positions, and one of the positions will be administering our naloxone distribution to our inmates in Baltimore County Corrections Center.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions from the members?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure, Mr. Catch.
When this year's budget was introduced in a year ago, I assume that there's no anticipation of this money reflected in that budget.
No, there was not. That's why we're coming back for this supplemental. This was additional funding that came to us from the state.
Because I do notice with this year's budget that there are some departments where the budgets are lower, and it appears to me that it's because I guess we don't know what the grants are going to be, and so that's the reason why. So comparing the budget for your agency, the budget that was approved to the one where we are now is probably very different, and today's is right now the budget's probably higher than it was appropriated last year.
For these special funding items, yes.
Yeah, right, in essence, yeah. Yeah, okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And I believe then we have Bill 2920, which is an addendum.
Madam Chair, I have a question about this one.
Yes, Councilman.
So this, it looks like the 34 hours, these are two non-merit positions. And would they be housed, I couldn't tell, it looks like it says the detention center, but would they also be active in the Richards Building at the former Rosewood Center, which is now the county's only voluntary methadone treatment center? Not methadone, I'm sorry, opioid treatment center.
I'm not positive on that. Some of these positions are more outreach positions, and we'll be doing outreach education.
So they may be, rather than being housed at a location, they may be mobile.
I have to find out exactly where all of them will be. I do know one will be working within the detention center, but I'm thinking that's still being worked out, especially now due to COVID-19.
Actually, now that I think about it, we have a vendor that's operating the staff at the Richards Building. So unless it's supplementing that vendor, then it most likely would be in one of our facilities. I think I answered my own question.
Okay. All righty. Lawrence, do you want to go into Bill 2920?
Yes, 2920 is another supplemental appropriation of funding coming from the Maryland Department of Health for our immunization action plan grant. The immunization action plan, so the supplemental was for $42,292, and it's going towards the IAP program. The program is aimed at reducing or eliminating vaccine preventable in Baltimore County by ensuring that children 2 years of age and under receive all their recommended immunizations, and that school-age children have access to vaccinations required for attendance in school. The IEP was developed to meet the requirements of the immunization recommended by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And this will be used to give the vaccinations to school-age children.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Mr. Richardson? Thank you, Lawrence. Take care. Okay, so we are 20 minutes to 3, but attendees have been told that it's 3 o'clock for the basic services maps. So we won't continue now, correct, Mr. Boswick? Tom Boswick?
You got to unmute.
Okay. I'm unmuted. Who's-
There we go. Mr. Paluso, if he's on, I guess he could, discuss it or mention it for the work session, but yeah,
We have to wait till 3.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So this concludes today's work session, and we'll see you all back at 3. And remember, this will be another WebEx that you'll have to go into, not the same one you're on right now. See you at 3.
Thank you.
Thank you.